How do you do? There is one workflow related topic that I haven't yet discovered in my channel, and that is MIDI effects and how different digital audio workstations use MIDI effects, or how you can use them in your workflow. Some of them support it more easily. With others you need to kind of do a bit more work in order to get the MIDI effects working. And I'm also mostly thinking about external MIDI effects like different type of ARPs or chord tools or things like that you could actually use to get some ideas, get going with things. And those are like something like Captain plugins or RapidComposer or things like that. So let's dive into that, how different digital audio workstations use MIDI effects, or how you can use them, and which is most straightforward and which is kind of like most annoying to set up. Okay, let's get going with Ableton Live. Okay, so in Ableton Live you have different level of MIDI effects you can use. One of those are like the MIDI effects that they provide, that are kind of coming with Ableton Live, depending on the package, I guess, or kind of the version of Ableton. You get different type of things. The most common ARP or kind of MIDI effects is Arpeggiator, which is used in and is basically in all of the digital audio workstation, and of course Ableton is no exception. But then they provide a different list of different type of other type of MIDI editors. You could also define the scale so that it will keep any key that you are pressing will be in a scale if you use this plugin. But I was also like, I wanted to kind of also touch base on the thing that how it is to use external MIDI effects, and some digital audio workstation make it more easy, some make it a bit more challenging, and Ableton is one of those. So where it is a bit more challenging to set it up than in some others. But let's dive into that and see how it is. So I have here different type of MIDI effects that can be used. I have Scaler, RapidComposer, Mixed in G, and these are kind of handy if you want to get some ideas and start working from there. But for example, now if I would go and try to, I'll double this so that I don't lose the pad. So let's do like this. But if I would like to now take and use this as a MIDI effect, it will actually not work as a MIDI effect, but it will actually replace it. So that's not something that one wants, and that's done differently than other in some other digital audio workstations. So I'll cut this, but let's just bring it here and so that you can see that what one need to do actually in order to then use this as this MIDI effect with the pad, for example. So what I need to do is basically here I need to say the VST output. Here is a tutorial also that they help you to set it up. But what I need to do here is that I need to actually go over here and select the track where I have the plugin. So for example, Captain Chords Epic. And then from here I need to go and say Captain Chords Epic in the MIDI section. And now if I'm doing something here, it will basically then launch the MIDI in the channel. So now basically if I do modifications here, it will of course send the MIDI into the respective channel, and then I'm able to now play it. Respectively, if I would like to bring a bass into it, I could basically take the Captain Deep and bring it here. It will automatically, based on the scale that I had in the chords, it will actually take them. But again, in order to get the bass working, I need to go over here and select the Deep from here and here. And now if I play, I think I need to arm them so that I can actually hear them. Let's see. Come on. So now if I play, so there is also bass, and there is also bass now coming from here, and I'm routing the MIDI into here. So this is how you can bring in some ideas into your creation workflow with this type of plugins, and this is how you set it up in Ableton. And then of course here you can play different type of things, so you can say that okay, let's do 8 notes, so and so on and so forth. But this I wanted to have as an example that how to use these type of external MIDI tools to get some creative ideas, and how to set it up in Ableton Live. So Ableton Live, you need to do it in this way, and then you are basically getting it working. So that's pretty much how Ableton works, on top of its own MIDI effects that you can bring from here. Also, what Ableton do provides on top of their own MIDI effects are different type of Max for Live devices that you can also use as a MIDI effect. So you have a lot of choices in that respect. However, if you would like to use externals, this is the way to set them up in order to get going. Okay, so that was Ableton Live and how to use external MIDI effects in Ableton Live on top of its own what it has built in. And next we will dive into Logic Pro, and Logic Pro, how to Logic Pro handles with the MIDI effects. And let's see if it's different than Ableton Live. And I can already kind of do a spoiler alert. It is a bit more simpler. But anyway, hope you liked the video, and remember to subscribe for my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye now.